Sit back in
Is
corner.
Jamie or Judy or anybody, like, they're not coming?
They should be. I've gotten.
She said she had some houses to show, but she had a client pop up.
She texted me and said she would be a few minutes late. She's been annoying. So before we officially get started, I brought Jan in here specifically because I wanted to let you all know tomorrow is her birthday. Yay! And even though we have a good amount of some people that don't get a chance to pop into the office, we wanted to say thank you for everything that you do, for rocking our front desk. Oh, this got left in Atlanta too. So. But no, thank you for everything that you do. Certainly wish you happy birthday. We have a birthday cake in the kitchen for you as well.
So, and a crowd, I thought.
Well,
yeah, so we'll all be digging into that after the meeting. But a lot of people are here. Just wanted to wish you happy birthday and say thanks for everything that you do for us.
oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, well we're gonna go ahead and get started.
If Brooke's out there, will you send her in too, Jan?
Sure.
Thanks.
So we're coming off of the family reunion high, and got in late last night. Well,
That's a
early
good
this
thing to say,
morning.
'cause I'm like feeling, woo.
Yeah, probably like, I don't know, 1 something maybe, and luggage is still in Atlanta, so I have these fancy dancy shoes on tomorrow.
Oh.
So, anyways, my body is very confused because I'm like super pumped and like a chihuahua on crack and really exhausted at the same time. But we got a lot of great information to go over, so we're going to dive right into it. We do have a very, very brief pop-in at the end of this with Annette Dory, just to apprise us of some changes that are happening in the lending market. She's going to be bringing us some goodies and stuff as well, so we'll start just going right through, okay? State of the company meeting. Anything you want to start off with, or we could just rock and roll?
We can start rock and roll. Just basically, really quick, state of the company is something that I did at an office that I was at with Cuddlings for a long time, and we had been doing it in Grand Blanc and in Clarkston, but we have never done one here. And obviously something happened earlier today that made us, we need to go over policies and procedures, and Saginaw is so much different than Oakland County and Genesee County. So I worked with Ryan on changing the policies and procedures to kind of format more here. The other thing too is, not that you guys are red-headed stepchildren, it's so funny because one of the OPs I met took over a market center, and anyways, they called themselves the redheaded step. I said, wow, that sounds so familiar. But you guys are very policed, I guess is what I want to say. And with the changes that we're going through right now, I mean, those of you that have been in the business for a long time, you know that when we went through the downturn, that the state of Michigan really didn't come after us with anything. You know, you didn't see, knock on wood, audits or things like that. But now that we're over that, this being Fair Housing Month, that we see that stuff now. So we really need to tighten up stuff, not just for me, but for you guys too, because I get audited, you get audited, you guys get the fines. So we're gonna go over a little bit of how we're gonna try to keep things a little bit tighter here, and police them a little bit better. But anyways, Ryan is the designated broker in the area, team leader, right, assistant team leader. Ryan's been recruiting and helping me recruit up here, and also helping me with all of this stuff like this today. And then basically office approval. Yeah, I told everybody at the other state of the companies, I'm really only the owner. If you have something good to say, don't call me otherwise. Call Ryan, just call Ryan. Actually, I've been really good about telling people, if you're gonna bring me something negative, bring me a solution. And I've gotten a lot of people that tend to like wanna complain, not coming up to me to complain, bringing me solutions, so it's really working. Alex, obviously you guys know, she's important, right, cutting checks. Jan,
She is.
yeah. And then we brought in Melissa, which we're doing what tonight?
We're doing a meet and greet tonight,
Yeah.
so at the end of the meeting, we'll bring her in just to say hi and talk a little bit about this evening. It's gonna be a little bit more of a relax, beverages, adult beverages, and some food, just to kind of talk a little bit about what she can do for us. I can tell you, based off my personal experience already, has been amazing. So my next 6 deals she's closing out, and it has probably been one of the smoothest process I've had in a really long time, so.
She knows her stuff, and that's why we hired her,
Oh, yeah.
and then, if you guys have ideas for her,
She used
bring
to
them
be
to her,
with
and
us
if we can do them, we
before.
can do them. Yeah, that's what she said. I like her a lot. She's like my Linda down in Clarkston, and everybody loves Linda. So, her personalities matched up really well. I did, I don't remember who was she with. All right, I decided to get down and dirty first, so I'm gonna help Brian with this. I'm gonna help Brian with the policies and procedures updates.
Jan's
so.
gonna be bringing in copies for everybody too in just a minute.
Okay, so basically what we did is we took the highlighted changes in each section. This is in the standard policy and procedure that everybody has signed. These are the changes that are coming down the pipeline. Not really big changes, but more or less to really firm up and tighten down what we're already doing. So when it comes to new listings, Jan is starting to do a little bit more in-depth auditing procedure, we'll call it, okay? Where compliance review check. So to make sure that we have everything that we need in play in order for us to approve that file, and that's gonna apply to both sides. But specifically as a listing, what's gonna happen now is if there are missing documents, I don't know if you all noticed that if you do dot loop, when you add a property, you now tag it as if you're working with the buyer or the seller, or if it's a listing, I mean, and then the required documents, which is exactly what we have in our buyer's package and our seller's package, now auto dumps in there for you. So you don't have to scroll through and try to find a purchase agreement and an addendum and the inspection contingency. It's all right there like it is in the package for you. So that's gonna help when that gets submitted to her for review. She's gonna go through and make sure everything is right and in there and signed and initialed and everything else. If there are missing documents, she's gonna actually kick it back to you and say, hey, we need this, that, and the other thing. It is now the agent's responsibility, all of our responsibility, to get those required documents into her as soon as possible in order for her to even approve that file. And by approve that file, I mean that goes into the KWLS. So when you have a listing, if you're missing the documentation, it's delaying you from going into the KWLS, which, as you know, is directly fed to all of our Realtor and Zillow and all the hundreds of other marketing online platforms that our listings go out to. So to make sure that that stays up to par and on top of things and there's no delay in getting that approved, all those documents are gonna have to be in. Any questions on that? Home warranties.
The way it should be.
Yeah, right. Home warranties. So,
I was gonna mention something, just so you guys know, in their policies and procedures, we're not a discount brokerage, so we should be charging 6%. But, I went to a lot of classes, talked to a lot of people. When I say you should charge 6%, and don't go out and do what I'm about to tell you to do. If you have something that you've got a buyer that's buying and selling, and you've got multiple deals or something, if you want to do something for that person, bring it to me. When I just talked about fair housing is about being fair to your customers and your clients, right? So if I go and I say, Marianne, we've got such a great relationship, I'm gonna charge you 4%. Marge, I don't even know you, I'm gonna charge you 6%. And fair housing was to come in and see that, then we're going to get busted, right? So when you're talking to people and you're sitting down, they ask you, hey, will you charge less? Well, no, I don't. I charge all my clients 6% because of that. Have that conversation with them. Now you can get a little bit creative, and you can do some things where I'm gonna charge you 6%, but if I sell it myself, I'll do 5%. And if you bring me a buyer within the first 30 days, I'll do 4%. That's a way to actually come in, and if they ask you to discount your commissions, it sounds really good as a marketing point, but it's very unlikely that you're gonna sell it yourself. You co-broke most of your stuff, right? And then for them to bring you a buyer in the first 30 days will probably never happen. But they listen to that and they think that they're giving you a discount.
Do you write it down where it's in the listing agreement? There used to be a
Yes, you
place
write it
where you
down.
could
I
put
always
that
pencil it in.
provision in.
Well, no, I just write mine in, so you just write it in. I don't have a place on our contracts, our listing contracts.
Okay.
You put 6%, but if you wanna
Right.
do those other things,
And
I
then
just
there was
write
a
it right in
provision.
there. Yep.
Remember where we had that
Yes.
provision paragraph?
So
you
that's
can
where
write
you
it in
guys
right.
can get a little bit, but honestly, don't be a discount broker. And if you are, like you have an investor that's buying 6 houses or doing something and you wanna do something for selling, a huge bulk of them, then just come to me or Ryan and let me know, be an easy conversation to have with fair housing if they came in and said, hey, Matt's got 6 houses. Yeah, he's different than Marge.
Right.
You know, this person's different than Marge. Marge buying 1 house, this person's buying or selling 6 houses. So it's an easy conversation. That's what I just want you guys to be aware of why we do what we're doing and why you need to get permission.
Now, will that show up for other agents on the board, the difference, the commission break?
No, because that's why you're always co-broking 3%, no matter what. So no, it won't show up any different. The only person that'll know that you took 5 or you took 4, which I'm telling you right now, I've offered that before and nobody's ever used 4%. That they brought me a buyer in 30 days, right? But no, it won't. As a co-broker, you're still co-broking out 3%.
But it's not fair to them because.
You're thinking of the in-house clause that we used to have.
Because if there's a multiple thing, that could make it or break it. They would go with a listing agent who is offering less. You know what I mean?
Well, you can discuss it with your, with your customer or your client to be, as long as you know what you're doing. You know, with discussing it with them, and then when they sign the dotted line, you put it there.
Yeah, I don't want
How about people like me that charge 7?
Go for it.
Well,
Love
you
you.
know
Everybody take a class from Mary Ann. Get 7% all day long.
But I'll settle for 6.
Actually, right now,
Right?
Alex gives you guys kudos all the time. I don't have this problem. I mean, I don't have this problem like of this, but I do down in Oakland County. It's so competitive down there that I really have to push it with the agents on what they're doing. Because they try to go in at 4%, they'll give co-broke 3 and take 1, and I gotta go to them and say, we're not a discount broker, I'm sorry, I'm taking your commission. Because they'll do it for this person and not do it for that. So it's not a problem up here. In fact, Alex loves you guys because most of you guys do get 7%.
Tell them all the time.
Yes. I'm just
I
letting
know
you
you
guys
guys.
know how it works.
We're
So.
It's a
more
little
than
hard when you
worth it.
juxtapose
And for
the
the young
Jeff
people and the
Glover
newer
stuff.
people that
Yeah.
don't know that, in 1972, we started at 7%. I mean, that was that long ago.
Most of your customers do not know, we're gonna go into that, but you set the expectation up front. Most of them don't know. You're the one who discounts yourself, so.
Now, I do wanna add something to this on the other side, and this is just to beware agents in our area. There are agents that are not us, but outside in other brokerages that I've been seeing it pop up where they're, providing the 3% and it's an MLS as a 3%. Let's say you have the buyer and they have the seller. But then when it gets to closing, they're requesting to adjust commission because they've got an addendum behind scenes with the seller that the commission really was only 2.5% per side. So could you please change your side of the commission because that's what the seller's going to pay.
No, that isn't.
So, exactly. So, just be cognizant of that, like when you're out there with your buyers, cause it's started to pop up these last couple of months more, and just to be aware, okay?
So Century 21 in Bay City seems to be doing, a lot of their agents are doing 2.5% instead of, or 2. Or there's actually some brokers and agents that they'll do your buyer's side $300, or some crazy ass thing like that. I always.
Honestly, we see it a lot,
Yeah.
like Detroit and up.
Because of what they're trying to do is they don't want to have you sell their
Right.
properties. They
Right.
want to sell it themselves, so they're
Exactly.
trying to persuade you not to show it.
So just beware, if they try to, bait and switch at the last minute, like when you get the HUD statement and you realize your commission is 2.5% or 2% and not 3%, we got issues.
There's a form that they're supposed to send,
That's
because
right.
brokers have to acknowledge that there is a change in the.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be agreed upon.
Exactly, but they're not doing that, they're just waiting right to, I'm sorry, I should change that to like 30 minutes. But they're waiting right to closing, you get the HUD statement and they're like, oh, by the way.
And then your buyer, if you say, don't wait,
Hang on, this.
Okay, real quick, sorry.
Yeah, also the other thing that I've had for my previous brokerage is they offer agent bonuses, and then if you don't make the biggest deal about it through your entire transaction, they don't do it and you have to fight individually. So they say like, I just had that happen, like,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
didn't.
this is the thing, you guys as professionals, when you guys get your closing statements, look them over. Don't go to the closing, or don't leave the closing and then get upset about it. It's so much harder to go back and get your money after that. So get your closing statements, review them with your client, and then go to the closing table and know what you're getting paid. I mean, obviously, I look at my commission all the time. I know exactly. These agents will say, I didn't know. How did you not know that you were supposed to get that much
We
money?
do have some title companies that we get it on the fly. We get the numbers on the fly, like in the closing.
Well, we're gonna change that.
You can just come in
Come on.
wherever you want.
Yeah.
All right, so good on that?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Yeah, we gotta go through it.
Home warranties, this is a document that's in our, you wanna sit up here so you're not, you good, okay. So this is a document that is now in both the buying and the selling package. Obviously, we do get a bonus essentially for securing those, but it either has to be acknowledged or it has to be waived. So on the bottom, there's both a buyer and a seller category to show are they accepting it or are they gonna waive it. That has to be part of our package. Now, the amount, this is the, I'm not too familiar with this change, so I don't know if you wanna talk on that, about the amount that's taken from the split does not go towards company dollar.
Yeah, so before you're capped, it's a 70-30 split. That $30 does not go towards your cap, it just goes to the office. And then after you're capped, you get $100, you get the whole thing. So, just to make you aware, it's not going towards your cap, that $30, that's it. It's not commission, so it doesn't go towards a cap. The other reason, I just wanna, when I'm talking to Alex or Andy, my other daughter, I have to explain why we're doing what we're doing. Our E&O insurance is probably, I don't know if anybody really pays attention if you're at another brokerage before, but errors and omission insurance, some places charge $40 a deal. So you pay a lot of money for errors and omissions. I've kept it very, very cheap for 4 years and haven't had to increase it. And part of it is because if they came in to audit me, I'm telling them that each and every one of you is getting a waiver signed. It's kind of like your coverage on your cars and stuff, or if you bundle it, or if you have certain things, they give you discounts. I get a discount from E&O insurance because I tell them that each agent is presenting this to a buyer or seller and actually getting it signed, whether they'll do it or not do it. So that's why I need it. That gives it, plus I get $1,000 deduct. Like if we did go again, I don't know what it is, but if we did go to court, they do give us $1,000 to take towards court towards a deductible, and I'm actually using it for the first time. But anyways, you guys need to understand why you're doing it, and then it makes it easier for you to do it, right?
Well, it's also that the seller or the listing guys won't come back and sue us that we didn't offer it to them.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Very good point. Very good point.
Yep.
All right. Now, going back to some of the paperwork process, when it comes to our new sales, the only thing that's changing in that is we have to have no later than 24 hours from the time that the seller accepts or the buyer accepts. Well, in other words, when you got a fully executed contract is when we need that EMD deposit slip turned in, okay? Where everything else is still the same, obviously, you know, cashier's check, personal check, money order, whatever. We still have the, Jan still uses the little scanner thing, which is super cool for quick deposits. So when your client drops something off, bam, it's in and you're good, okay? Anything on that?
No.
Okay, so
You guys are good about that. So.
yeah, I think we're pretty good. Solds and closings. Now, here's where some of the big chunk of what we need to focus on. So we added in that the scheduled closing document is required to be submitted via dot loop or given directly to Jan as soon as you have it clear to close and the closing is scheduled. This is going to be very important moving forward, and I'll explain why. So basically, Jan is now going to prepare a closing folder for us, okay? So in order for us to make sure that you have everything you need officially to take to a closing, the scheduled closing document has to be in as soon as you know when that property is closing. You get your clear to close, it's on the books with the title company, you know where, what time, what date, fill out that scheduled closing sheet, get it to Jan immediately. It gets put on the calendars, it helps us prepare and Alex prepare for when things are actually gonna be happening so we can get checks ready and all the other fun stuff. Now we're gonna start providing the actual closing folder or documentation to take to closing. Folder, we're up in the air right now of how we're gonna do that. But we got some cool information coming forward with that. But it's gonna include a hold harmless, utility transfer information for the client, and if there are any other documents that may need to be signed, if we notice that there's an initial missing on a disclosure or something like that, we're gonna send that with you to the closing to get that done so that when you bring everything back from the closing, we have everything we need to make sure we're compliant and we're good to go, okay? So scheduled closing documents have to be in. Now, as soon as you get that, we're gonna be providing that closing packet for you before you leave. All required documents afterwards from the sale must be submitted, including all copies after closing to Jan, should a full listing and buying package not be completed. Here's the problem. If there's documentation that's not in that we need, that's going to prohibit Alex or anybody else from doing their job, okay? And it's not because they can't, it's not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. So if we're missing something, we have to have now this full package in and everything that we need for our compliance and everything from the copy of the title company. In order to do this, commission checks could be delayed until all required documents are submitted. We still reserve the right for that standard policy. You have your commission within 24 hours of final MCA compliance review and acceptance. Now, I've never waited or heard of a lot of people having to even wait for that 24 hours. So Alex does an amazing job on making sure that we get paid on time, which I'm super, super thankful for. Anything else on that part?
Yeah, so let's go back to Alex, God bless her. All right, so Alex, one of the things that what happens in Alex's job and that I'm going to try to help coach her on is Alex gets got a minute, so she's sitting in an office, right, down in Clarkston, and the broker sits in there with her. So either somebody's coming in talking to the broker, disrupting her, or she gets got a minute, and then she'll get back to doing what she needs to do, and then it'll be, my closing's coming over, can I get a check? And it's not you guys, it's Clarkston, it's everybody, right? So Alex is gonna start time blocking. I'm not exactly sure what time she'll let you guys know, but she's gonna cut checks for 3 hours every day. If they come in, it'll be 3 hours. What will happen is if you do want your check immediately, Greg got Melissa here. So if you do want your check immediately and your title company that you work with now does this, and if they don't, Michigan First will. So let's say you're closing tomorrow on Thursday and they've got their closing package ready, right? And they're actually dispersing the check, because if you're doing a split closing, they might not be the ones dispersing the check. But if they're dispersing the check to Keller Williams for your commission, as long as Melissa or your title company sends that check, a copy of that check over to Alex, all you're going to have to do is go up to Jan and say, here's my closing packet, I just closed on this, and Jan's gonna be able to hand you your check.
Wow.
So,
Well, Alex could come up here and we promise not to interrupt you.
you do promise that now, but I'm telling you right now, you guys can't help yourselves. Especially with all the other new stuff coming on, she's gonna be very, very busy.
We'd love to have.
I know.
And she actually got that from the One Thing book that Gary Keller wrote.
Yes.
Very good.
Well, and since we're kind of already remote with each other, I do have a couple agents right now that will just send me a picture of their check or the first couple HUD papers or whatever, and then I can cut it beforehand. But yeah, my big thing is time blocking.
It's gonna be
That's my
that
one
time
thing.
frame, so like, you know, if you're having the closing on Thursday and you wanna get paid right when you have the closing, I don't wanna stop it if the closing's at 4. Let's just say we time block Alex out from 9 to noon, and that's the only time she's cutting checks. Well, she'll have your check cut already if the day before you send her copies of your closing statements and a copy of that check. So you don't have to worry about it, you'll just go, here Jan, here's my closing documents, here's the check, and Jan will be able to just go, here's your check. Here you go.
We hope she has to increase that to 4 hours.
That would be great,
I like it.
but, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, or direct deposit is amazing.
That's
Yeah.
So that
fantastic.
is amazing, I would love that, but yes. So if you guys can help me with her, because what happens then is we get into transmittal and we get into having to do bank recs or just pay bills. And, you know, she'll say, I'm gonna set this time aside, just pay all the bills today. And then it's interruption, and then it goes to here and here. It's just not organized, so.
We all need a time block anyway, but that's my big goal this year.
All right, so these are complete new additions. We'll talk about the office cubicle criteria. This is policies that are adapted pretty much in the other offices right now because we are in a funky growth stage. We want to have a precedence that's set to pull on, but this can be changed as we go along and it will develop as we grow, okay? But just for expectancy purposes right now, the policy to accommodate the office growth, we want to get to a point where $4 million producers basically are the ones that are going to be qualifying for private offices. $1 to $3 million producers may utilize shareable offices, which is a lot of what we are right now. We just want to have things in place that as we grow, we're putting people in the right position both in the office and in the business to make sure that they grow and succeed. We've got quite a few new licensees that are going to be signing on this month. And so, you know, I want to get them like in cubicles and get them settled and get them around us and get around the buzz and the flavor of the office and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that everybody is basically on track for their production, and this is going to accommodate and assist with that. So
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
Even
for
though it's
sure.
a sensitive problem as we grow, but it's a good problem to have. Because if we grow, then we're more profitable and your profit share checks go up, right?
Yeah. So that's going to be the standard basis. We're going to, you know, basically reserve the right to implement and invoke that when needed, especially as we grow. All other situations basically kind of will be handled on one-off case by cases between me and that individual. There is basically, should an agent get off track, I'll just read it, in production, there is a 6 month grace period to get back on track before giving up their office. Again, this is something that we reserve the right to invoke at any point when needed, especially as growth is merited. So even though we still have space to fill and occupy, it's not like, you know, people are getting kicked out of spaces or anything like that at all.
Yeah. I was gonna just say, I was just gonna give you guys an example. So Jeremy Bigelow's been with me for 17 years, and he used to be a big producer. He used to do foreclosure booms, all that stuff. Well, long story short, he's in my office, he's got a private office, but he stopped doing his production because he actually opened up a virtual something, some type of store, right? But he still had his office. So he came to me, handed me the keys and said, it's not fair. Here's the keys, I'm not doing my production. Give it to someone that needs to be in here all the time. So that's the culture, that's the attitude, you know what I'm saying? Not that I want anybody to give up their office, don't panic. I'm just saying, that's culture and that's kind of how, or if we go to somebody, I think Marge, are you sharing right now?
Yeah.
There you go, Marge said, okay, as long as they're clear.
There isn't any magic in the office.
Yeah, so it's just culture.
I mean.
So, any questions or anything on that, let me know. Onboarding process, basically we have a full onboarding process now for all of our agents. What we're doing is I'm working with the few group of individuals that came on during the transitional period with Keller Williams, where some of this kind of fell through the cracks, not by any fault of anybody specific, but just to make sure everybody's on the same page with how we're going to be getting people engrafted with the office and with the KW culture. So as part of efforts for that, we've devised a checklist. The checklist is gonna have to be completed within 7 days of joining the office. This is to help review systems and procedures as well. If they're new licensees, they also must become a member of the MLS within 30 days. That is board policy up here in our area. So they have also a little checklist of things like some classes and stuff that have to be knocked out, code of ethics, blah, 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 in order to activate you as an agent with the board. The checklist is pretty cool. I know all of you guys that are already here don't have to worry about it, but if you wanna see it, if you're talking to somebody that's interested in maybe signing on with us, you kinda wanna, you know, lay the foundation of a little bit of what to expect, I'll be more than happy to go over that with you. It's a little bit more in-depth to get them grounded, settled, and really, really launched once they're here in training and branding and all that fun stuff. Okay, now this is something that is...
Everybody take a deep breath first before you even say this. Breathe.
I have a question about the last part before we move on to this.
Yeah.
So what if we bring somebody in, they go through the onboarding and all that? Are we doing the mentor thing still? And if so, is it still the first 5 deals 10% thing, or how do we compensate agents?
I wouldn't mind, Rick does a lot of that.
Yeah,
Been
that's what I'm saying.
trying to put that together, and thank you, Rick, for doing that, but if someone is interested in being a mentor, we need a little bit more structure. I think we were doing the first 5 or 6 deals, or what? 5 or 6 deals?
Yeah.
So I
And
don't,
we just took that idea from, because we both came from Central 21, that's what they
Yeah,
did over there. They,
that was-
like, when I got in the business, he was my mentor. He trained me on dot loop and everything, and
Right.
helped me write my offers and all that, and then he got 10% of my first 5.
yeah,
So
It
just
seemed
to
to
let
work
you
pretty
know,
well.
there is a document that specifies how that new agent is coming on board with us. And it's gonna specify, are they in a mentorship program and what is their commission breakdown for that duration. The good thing is that can be modified. So if you bring somebody on and they're like, I want Matt to be my mentor, and you say, not even 5 deals, maybe the first 12 months. I mean, we can adjust that as needed, as long as it's comfortable between you both, and that's how we'll put it in the record when we sign them on. So,
Actually,
while.
that's a great idea, because some people are gonna be like, Matt, got a minute, Matt?
Well, I'm a terrible
And
mentor. I get
they're
everybody
gonna be
to
worth
Rick.
like 30% or 50/50
I'm a good
split.
recruiter, bad mentor, so.
Yeah, okay, Rick might have.
Know your strengths,
And then you're
right?
gonna have that person that just catches on really quickly, so actually, I like that.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So, yeah, but it is an actual official document that locks them into whatever that agreement is.
I was just gonna say, let's have an
Yep.
agreement that we sign.
Yep, and so, Rick has been our, kind of like our office mentor for that. But I know that sometimes agents will bring on somebody where they have a relationship established with that new person, and it just makes sense for them to be that mentor based on whatever relationship they cultivated, so that is an option as well. Do you wanna start on this next one, or you want me?
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
Honestly, we put transaction fee, but we might wanna put compliance fee. So, I've been doing a transaction compliance fee, and when it was introduced, we actually lost agents. So I don't want anybody walking out the door because I'm implementing this compliance transaction fee right now. But it was implemented in Genesee County, probably, I don't remember not charging it, so I know it's been over 7 years. So it's probably been 9 or 10 years that we've been charging a compliance fee, so that's how far behind Saginaw is. And in
Everybody does it now.
Oakland County.
We're the only ones that don't do it.
Yeah, well, we're really the only ones that
I know,
don't.
I know.
So Central One, Berkshire, even.
Everybody's implemented it now.
Even Pinnacle. does.
Thank you for saying that,
We
so,
only do it by our side of Pinnacle, we only do buyer's side.
okay, so we do both sides,
I don't know
Clarkston
about
does
Wilson.
both sides. We do it differently at Clarkston. Me and Ryan really talked about bringing this to you guys and making it a discussion, but it gets a little complicated there, so we really discussed just making it fair. I know I can't do $295 like we do in Genesee County and Oakland, so we thought $195 is fair. The splits are a little bit different, but they're pretty much close to the exact same thing that Clarkston and Genesee County have. So we're gonna do $195, cause it sounds like it's competitive, right, in the area, you guys are like $199.
Now you tell me, I said, I have a closing today, I did $199.
You're okay. So again, we're going back to fair housing. So if Matt decides to do $295, that's totally fine for Matt, he's an independent contractor, I can't tell him that he can't do $295,
Always do it.
but he has to always do it. So I have agents in my office that charge $495. A lot of my agents charge $495. My officer is required to do $295. They have to charge it consistently with every single client. Again, they're gonna have to be able to prove if they don't charge somebody that thing and charge the other person something. So you guys can charge more than this, but you have to be consistent, has to be on your documents.
Is there a form that they have to sign in order to
So
acknowledge that?
we implemented this in the purchase agreement, so when you go
I
through.
use your purchase agreement from now on, just so you know, is that okay? Or
I don't
your
care.
listing contract?
Yes, the
Cause Tracy gave it to
listing-
me and I just blacked some stuff out.
Yep, you can. So our listing contracts, we'll make one for Saginaw that has this in it, and also your purchase agreements, so it's in there. It's an easy conversation. Again, clients don't know any different. You set the expectation. You set the expectation of your commission, and you also set the expectation of this compliance fee, right? And when we implemented that, I don't know why it was implemented across the board, but I'm telling you what, our admin, even though we're paperless, right? I've got boxes of your guys' files up in Grand Blanc that I pay for storage for. It is supposed to be easier. I don't know if we've made it a little bit harder. Everything's gotta be scanned in, and we have to keep a paper trail of everybody's stuff. Still, it's nice to have it scanned in compared to just having paper before, but still, it's a little bit more excessive than what we used to have to do. So it's $195, $100 is going to the agent, which is very generous compared to what I do with the other ones, and $95 to the office on every fee. Now, we're not rolling this out tomorrow, right? So I know you guys are working with buyers or you have listings right now. We're going to be okay with those ones right now that you have listed. It's anything from today forward that we list after we put it into the purchase agreement or listing agreement. Once we have that implemented, then it'll be from any time forward from that your guys are gonna be charging that. Same with your buyers. Let's say you're in a relationship with a buyer right now and you didn't mention this fee. I know it's not a good policy to go, hey Kate, now you have to pay this. But we're gonna have to have a transition period of, this is the cutoff. you know, if you haven't found that buyer house, shame on you, this is the cutoff, and you're gonna have to tell them after this date, cause we have to make a cutoff time. So I think we said 2 months, didn't we?
Yeah.
60 days, so if you're working with a buyer right now, you better find them a house, because after 60 days, we wanna see it on the
So
purchase.
that's in addition to the closing fee from the title company.
This has nothing to do with title, this is just our fees, it's in addition to commission.
But you do it on the closing statement,
It-
right?
Yes,
does.
it'll be on
It
there.
shows up on the closing statement.
And if I'm working with a buyer, I charge the $195. Or if I'm, have a listing, I still charge the $195.
Correct.
Okay, now how do I explain it to people, because they're gonna, a lot of times they nitpick the whole
Yeah.
closing statement, and then how do you explain it?
So
But you
before-
should have it before, go ahead.
Before we go into this in detail, just for the record, if anybody wants some in-depth conversation on how to dialogue that, I'll do a one-on-one with you and we'll go over that. I mean, you can talk about whatever you want in here.
We won't ever
I
get
just-
out of here, so
yeah,
you're right.
so-
I mean, where does it go? I know it's a transaction fee, but
You just,
So let me
Well-
just tell you right now where it goes, I'm gonna tell you, cause we're an open book company, you guys can see my books all day long. We're either in the hole here or we're profitable. That's going to go to help us stay out of the hole here.
right.
So it helps pay for her, helps pay for extra things in the office. It is a compliance fee, it was put in because when we went through the foreclosure thing, all the brokers were going downhill. Right now, we're going through a shift, and we're already seeing it, not as many closings happening right now. We're going into shift, we need to implement it in here to survive,
You know,
over and above.
I would rather see that, you know, encouragement and whatever to a higher like the 7% commission instead of taking that. Now, like when I bring in a 7% commission, in my head, now I've already donated.
Right, I know, I get it, I've been through this for 10 years. There's a ton of different arguments, and I know that you guys have been in the business a long time, but I totally 100% get it, but it works and it helps and it.
Well, I
does
understand what
unfortunately.
you're saying, believe me,
Yeah.
you know, at the same time, I just wish that everyone would go to 7% because they're worth it.
It would, but you know what, it's not gonna happen, actually more and more
It's
discount.
trending down.
It's trending down
Redfin
and
is
we're
only
losing our money.
charging 1%, 2%, I mean, that's
Redfin
just
in
the.
Detroit is 1%,
Yeah.
and agents are not educated or going there and working for Redfin and charging 1%. So it is, Matt's 100% right, we're in a different day and age, and
Yeah.
Now, but on the
And most-
flip side, I
most
gotta
offices
share
don't
with you,
do that.
we've always had to have in fighting discount brokerages.
we have, but
Yeah,
I
I
think it's
mean-
stronger now with the
Well, now you're fighting the
virtual.
internet.
Yeah.
When you're fighting the internet,
Absolutely.
it's completely different.
Well, I think it's a twist in it, but it's been there.
It's been there, you're
It's
right.
like everything
They
else.
come and go.
It's- Yeah, we gotta.
I just don't think they're gonna come and go like they used to.
Well, Zillow's already selling houses, so.
Well, and
Yeah.
the
I
east,
saw
east
that
is
in the
everyone's
other
doing it in
day.
the area, so we're like the only one that
Yeah.
doesn't, and actually, when I send things over to Diversified, I think they
Yeah, it
just
was
naturally
asked.
put it on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, without anything, cause every single transaction when I was at Diversified, just everyone, they just threw it on everyone. So you'll have more of a problem with them putting $199 on your
Mhm.
closing doc than you will at $195, cause they just naturally just,
Well, that's part of what we're doing here, so all of
Yeah.
our, whatever, first of all, if there's a situation though, like, to be honest, that we've gotta talk about this, you need to have a conversation with me, cause if there's
Right.
something that we have to do based on emergency or case-by-case situation with this fee, we have to address that. So, you know, I'll give you an example, I had a deal, literally, it was probably closed a few months before I actually made my transition back here. It was a super cheap property, like a $22,000 property, it literally drained every penny, and I saw the bank statements, to the buyer where they could not literally go even $50 over more of what they're at and buy this house. So I waived the transaction fee for them because it was either that or the deal was literally gonna die. So based on emergency situations, we'll address that, but title here as well, you know, being that Melissa is here now, which by the way,
I was just gonna say that, I will make sure 195 is on your statement,
yeah,
not 199.
it'll automatically.
Oh, $199 in mine, I want that $4.
We did it for a marketing play. If you guys want this $199, we have not put an emergency agreement. I'll
Yeah.
totally do $199. I mean,
Yeah.
hey.
No, we could totally do 190, we just thought 195, I just, the cheapest one is 199, so I wanna grab that.
Yeah.
Hey, if we need to survive, that couple extra bucks might help us.
Right.
Seriously.
That's what I was gonna say too, is up, or in Clarkson or whatever, the surrounding brokerages don't give anything back to the agent. They
Right.
take all that compliance fee.
Yeah.
Right.
And this would be looked at as kind of like $100 bonus on top of
Yeah.
your commission,
Exactly.
so it's pretty cool there.
Well, And let me just tell you guys too, it's not just our interest rate. If you guys go lease a car right now,
Oh, I know.
there's a processing fee that never used to be there, and if you ask them what it's for, they go, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what it's for, but I gotta charge it, and you gotta pay it. So if you wanna lease this car, it's right
So
here.
how's it labeled in the closing statement, or how will it be with us on the closing statement?
Actually, we don't label it as a transaction in Genesee County, it's a compliance fee, so we're gonna change the language here as a compliance fee.
So how do you label it?
It would show as a compliance fee on your
Compliance
settlement
fee.
statement.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've
Compliance
seen it on other ones, but the other
Yeah,
realtors.
everybody charges it now.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
It's pretty easy for the title companies to go over when they're presenting the documents too, they do it with ease.
And like I said, if anybody has problems trying to explain that to the client, sit with me, because I've never had a issue with these before, so. All right, this is my fun
That's his,
part
yeah.
here.
Turn that over to him, huh?
So lockboxes and signs, okay, we're making a little bit of modifications with this, especially with us being primary now Bay Board and who uses what lockboxes, what do we have available. If agent comes over, if you got a new listing, we're short on inventory, we're trying to collect lockboxes because the sheet literally has so many and this was before, these were dating back before even you were here, of chunks and chunks of random lockboxes that are still on our inventory list that are
But they disappeared. They
somewhere.
weren't.
And the problem is that,
I know they did.
yeah. The problem is that we can't get more ones because the board goes by portioning, and so when they give us more lockboxes, they look at the number that we have signed out versus the number of listings we have, and then they say, well, we can't give you any more because you should have enough for your listings, and we really don't. So, in an effort to balance this out, we're working hard, and Jan has been reaching out a lot to collect whatever random ones are out there, and every once in a while, a 4 will pop up here and 2 will show up randomly on our desk, so whoever's doing that, thank you so much. But anyways, what we're gonna do now is that the signs, the generic office signs which will go over in the lock boxes now are gonna actually be secured, and Jan has a sign out process for them. So basically, you're just gonna notify her that you need a lockbox, what property is for, she's gonna sign in her documentation that lockbox to that property. You get provided obviously one per listing. Once the listing expired and the property has closed, you have 2 business days now to return the lockbox. Should that lockbox not get returned in that allotted amount of time, there is a $25 non-compliance fee that will be added to the office bill. If the lockbox is transferring to another listing, you must notify the office immediately, and Jan will just switch that out. The compliance fee is because the board is like hundreds of dollars for these lockboxes, okay? So like if we need to get more, I don't know what the last, Rick, do you know? Like, I don't remember, I don't know if you know, James, it's been a while since you've been in the board world.
It was $250
Yeah.
per lockbox.
$250 per lockbox for us to get more for our listings at all. So this is an effort to try to keep everybody
ELB.
on track. ELBs, yeah.
It's just a good procedure again,
Yep.
too.
Exactly. So same thing with signs. Now, the signs that we have, because Keller Williams is so focused on personal branding, which is the avenue we're gonna stay down, we know emergency situations and temporary things pop up. So when Sylvia came on board, when Brooke came on board, we had listings that had to get transferred like immediately, you know, and they obviously with timing couldn't order signs and get them here in time. So, you know, we're gonna have a stack of signs, temporary signs that are available that are generic for those type of situations and emergency situations that will also get signed out. So how that's gonna work is that same thing basically when we have a new agent that comes on or emergency situations, I need to have a conversation with you to find out, to make sure that, you know, we can get what you need out for those properties. We'll get those approved, Jan will sign those out, they're gonna be generic office signs, nothing special, just office number, Keller Williams preferred office address, but they will be available in those type of situations. Should you need an office sign for temporary use, once they are approved, we'll notify Jan. Jan can sign them out to you. She's gonna monitor who has what signs and how long they've been out, along with, you know, listing contract times and stuff like that. Basically, as soon as that property closes, or if it's a new agent that's coming on board and they order signs and they get them and it's replaced, those signs have to be back here in the office. So Jan's gonna be monitoring that process to make sure that, you know, what's out is out and what is in needs to be in like immediately, so we have those on reserve for another potential emergency purpose. Yes.
Now, on the signs, what you just said at the closing, I always ask the people if we can leave it up for 2 weekends to get the sold on there and,
But that's your own personal sign, we're not
oh,
talking.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was a company sign, wouldn't you want the sold on there and so the neighborhood would know?
Well, that's totally fine, we'll have a time frame.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
we-
trying to make it difficult, I just don't want people, like if Matt runs out of signs, and let's say Matt ordered them and the guy said, oh, you know, I told you
Yeah.
5 days, but they're not gonna be here for 10. And Matt
Or
goes
20,
to,
but
or
what-
20, with,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I wanna be able to have those signs readily available, but as soon as they come
Yeah.
in 5 or 10 days, he's gonna be able to swap them out.
Right.
So, or, you know, Brooke came over, we didn't have enough, it would've been nice to go, here Brooke, here's 10 signs, but obviously Brooke's ordering her signs and we just swap them out when they come in, that's what we want them for, is for those situations
And
only.
then Ryan's gonna be the one ordering them, I think,
You want me to just have her come
from
in?
our company.
She can come in, I mean, we're not done, but I
Find
think
a
she's more
company.
welcome to have a seat
I
for
just think
everything.
a generic company.
Yeah, 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 I just want more.
Well, I got a bunch, that's fine, but I'll talk to Ryan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Alright. Okay, we've got, yeah, you can keep going.
Yeah, let me just go. Just kidding.
Okay, so you're gonna be
Sure
seeing
was
more.
More,
Oh, I can see the little dog.
So, we had a dinner and I didn't have my preferred shirt, but I had
There's some extra seats in here.
first today, I had to wear all these
You wanna
shirts
come
at
in?
family reunion, cause we got shirts for everybody at family reunion, I was going around going, whoof. That's doubling up my shirt, anyways, you had me there,
There's
so.
like one there, there's a couple up here. Make yourself comfortable, I want you to see the info, because it's gonna be good stuff, so.
Good stuff.
Okay, so this is where my Chihuahua on crack moment comes in, because when we were at family reunion, this stuff was, a lot of this was launched and initiated. The KW Command, which is now gonna be our main central hub of everything we're going to do, is going to change your life. I promise. You gotta use it though. So I don't know if, I don't know, Alex, how you guys have handled the other ones, if you wanna talk about some of this, or like with the other offices, or if it's just a bullet point what we go down.
I think
Yeah, Nick manages.
Nick is very techie, so he's probably gonna be a lot better at saying this, so let me, Gary Keller gives a lot of analogies about what he's doing and why he's doing it. So just so you guys wanna know where Keller Williams is going, is Gary Keller looks at this platform, which I'm not gonna go into what a platform is and how it's different and all that stuff, and bolt-on technology and all the big words that he was using, but basically look at it this way. You know, you had Blockbuster, right? We even in between Blockbuster had, what was that called, where you could go and get a movie out of a
Redbox.
They still
Redbox,
exist.
right? So you had those things, but what do we have now? Netflix. What do we have now? We have Amazon.
YouTube TV, baby.
Exactly.
Cable
So,
TV.
so the bigger companies actually have platforms. So Google has a platform, Apple has a platform. What other one? Come on, help me out.
Google.
There's only 4 major companies that actually
Amazon.
have platforms, right? And they're all technology companies that have platforms. We are the only real estate company that has a platform. There is no other real estate company that's gonna be able to even touch us as far as what we're gonna do with technology from here on out. It gave us all chills, the way he was talking and explained to us where we're going and for the future. So if you look at it, and look at it this way, and embrace it, it's technology, we're gonna have to learn it. It's not gonna be fun, it's not gonna be that easy, but it's just like anything else, you know what I mean? How many of you guys use Amazon or Amazon Prime? Right? So he made a really good analogy about being a moat. That was my word of the weekend, is moat. A moat around our company. Basically, you're gonna start using our technology, right? Or you, let's say you use Amazon Prime. So if Ryan comes to you and he says, you can do this, this, and this, and I have a new product, are you gonna leave Amazon Prime? If I come to you and I say something to you, you've got everything, you've got Alexa, you've got everything going around Amazon Prime. It's gonna be hard for you to leave. Same thing with Netflix. Netflix is almost gonna be unbeatable because they have so much data that nobody can touch them because of all the data that they have. They've built a moat around themselves because of all the data. Keller Williams is building a moat around ourselves with so much data that nobody's gonna be able to touch us because we're the biggest real estate company in the world. So all he's doing is feeding everything data, and he made it very clear of how we were able to do this compared to any other real estate company, is because back in '83, he started a company that profit shared out to you guys. So we do transmittal every single month, and we're all on the same platform, it wasn't a platform, but we're all on the same page, because everybody has to report their numbers into Keller Williams International to be able to do profit share all over the world, right? And we've been doing that since the 80s, early 80s. Is the only reason that he was able to even build a platform, because he's been collecting data since the 1980s. No other real estate company has collected data, nobody's had to, so they used other services. So then he even went out and he purchased, now tell me if I'm wrong when I'm saying this, because I'm not perfect at this, right?
You're doing good.
Yeah.
Am I doing all right?
You're doing, yeah, no, I'm
So,
me and Alex are like,
so I'm lost, all right, so the
You went out
other,
and
besides the
purchased-
profit share
He has all
piece,
his data because he had to start building data back in the eighties, other companies farmed it out to
yes, there
somebody
was
else.
something really good that was
and
on
then you
the
said
tip
you
of
went
my
out
tongue.
and purchased, I think you're gonna talk
Oh,
about that.
Smarter Agent. So let me give you what Smarter Agent did. So, because all this stuff doesn't make sense to me, because I just use it, I don't think about it, right? So we've been using WolfNet, and we've been using other ways to get our data out there. So big companies, big franchises have used either WolfNet or Smarter Agent for their platforms, right? To put all their data into, so you guys have websites, mobile apps, all that stuff, so we've been using same thing, right? So he went out and he bought Smarter Agent. Smarter Agent actually gives the technology to companies like Berkshire Hathaway, Coldwell Banker, Remax, all of those companies. He bought all of their data. He now owns it. He even said that he tried to give it back to them and let them buy it and stuff, and they wouldn't even buy it back. They just said, here, have it, we don't want it. And what that means is if they want their mobile apps or want to build onto their websites, they gotta go to Keller Williams, because we're the only person that has our
Just flip them
technology.
off. But he also.
I don't know if you guys understand that, but it's a
It's
big
incredible.
deal. Like, if they want to grow their mobile apps, they are literally gonna have to go, and Keller Williams is going to have to supply them with growing their mobile apps, their websites, all of that stuff, because we have all their data.
Yep. The way that it was structured is so that the data is fed internal,
Yes,
and
thank
once
you.
it gets to Keller Williams, it can never leave unless if it's intentionally released. So while all these other Berkshire agents are out there using all their stuff and building their clientele and working their database, it's building our platform while they're working, which is
Kind of like we've done with Zillow. We've given
Yeah.
Zillow all that information, and Zillow's just used it and built it bigger and bigger and bigger. Basically, same thing now. Gary's
Yeah.
building this platform that's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger as we feed it more and more data.
So all these here that we're gonna go over a little bit are just basically some of those bullet points of what this technology is in grafting. And Gary Keller said it best, basically, the reason why this is being launched the way that it is to actually combat the Zillow and the Redfin and the issues that are now our actual direct competitors in this industry. No more Berkshire, no more Century 21, no more anything else. It's to that degree. But he said it like this, the reason why he gets, he called it passionate, but he said agitated Gary. He came out a couple times in that one session. But the reason why he built this and spent these years building this is because this is the equivalent of what's happening in our industry, is that if Uber hires an Uber driver and then takes all the money that the Uber driver is making and then builds cars that can drive themselves. That's exactly what's happening in our real estate industry. So all of this is geared to putting us ahead of the game, and it already has started to. And they just went live with this stuff. So, I mean, it's a lot. We're gonna take it chunk by chunk, we're gonna take it phase by phase. I've got screenshots and documentation of what's gonna roll out, because there's chunks of this throughout every quarter of this year, okay? Because it's a lot. It's gonna be completely brand new, but it's super user friendly. Did you get a chance to
It's
talk about it?
very, very easy.
Flip and love it. Like buttons.
A lot of people that have actually use CRMs, I know you used a CRM, but like Top Producer is probably the oldest CRM that's out there. So this is what we're talking about. It's not even really a CRM. Gary said it's something that the industry has never even seen. It does so much more than a CRM. But a lot of the agents, top agents that were sitting around me, said that they've played on it already, and they can't believe how user-friendly it is compared to stuff that they were actually, FirePoint and things like that, that they were actually purchasing and using. This is way easier.
Yeah, it's already connected to over 150 other type of platforms. So literally, when you pull up your settings, you're literally hitting buttons to just port your information over, and that's it. You're selecting what you want. your Google contacts, your Facebook pages, your everything. You're hitting a button and it's setting it up for you. It's ridiculous.
I have a question.
Yep.
Back like in August, July, we had a meeting here, and I remember you guys saying, I remember this really specifically because I was looking forward to it, that all this stuff was gonna roll out in February. We're gonna have riders on our signs where you can text information and get all their information. We were gonna switch over from the current like CRM, I guess you call it, to the new one. So I guess my question is, where are we at? Obviously, it's not rolling out. Where are we at?
It is.
It's already
now.
ready.
Everybody has it now.
Yep.
So we have access to that.
So when are we gonna actually get access to it and actually have people tell us about it, like as far as training us, instead of actually talking about it and having these big huge
So there's-
announcements
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and that's great, but nobody ever comes and tells us anything about it.
So everybody was.
Oh, Rick,
Gary
slow down,
kind
bud.
yeah. No, Gary kind of addressed people like Rick that were there. Like, we've been talking about it for 4 years. He kind of explained it like this. Any platform that is built usually takes 2 years. And then when you add artificial intelligence on top of it, that's another 2 years. So it is available to you. We're gonna give you have the
As long as you have your
Technology,
username and
if you go-
password that you've always used, you can get it.
Thanks for texting me, by the way.
Yes.
I just
And
tried,
can
I just tried
reset it
logging
for
into Kelly,
you.
it won't let me log into Kelly now.
Oh,
Because
good.
Kelly's
You
gonna
have-
update and it's
Kelly,
gonna
you have to go back into Kelly right now.
Oh, my, go
You have
update
to
it?
update it.
Gotcha.
Now, Rick, to answer your question directly, Alex is gonna actually help us with a lot of the training for the command part, which is gonna be your central hub of everything.
Right.
And we will be infiltrating those classes. This literally just got released during family reunion, so it's still very new to all of us. So we've got some of these labs and stuff we're gonna go over a little bit to give insight, but then we are structuring actual hands-on classes to get everybody
Yeah,
set.
so Gary said it to us when I went to Austin. He said, every one of you, if I didn't exist, he's gonna do so many live trainings starting on the 25th, because they're going to rest for 5 days. And then on the 25th, they're gonna have so many live labs and stuff that you guys would be able to do this without us ever even coming into the office and teaching you how to do it, if you wanted to get online to learn it. So they're gonna be doing continuous live labs of how
Let's have it
it works.
recorded instead of live.
Well, they do, they,
Because,
Pico
you
is,
know,
it's been
that's-
great
You
available.
can go,
At
everything,
our-
everything is recorded on
Okay.
KW Connect.
Right.
So they'll do it live and you can watch it live, and if you miss it, you'll be able to find it on
So
KW.
we almost
You
just
can
need
go
to
on
teach you
KW
that.
Connect right now and learn all of this stuff right now.
Right.
And see what they've done up to now, right this minute, if you wanna take the time to actually do it. But we are going to come in and make sure you guys are set up. And then that stuff that you just talked about, Matt, is, Gary explained it this way. Things are, it's pretty much gonna be the worst it's ever been right now as it rolls out. So don't expect it to be perfect. And at the bottom of the command page, it's gonna say, if you see something that's not working well, they're gonna be a live person at the bottom. You're gonna be able to say, this isn't working right. And they're going to be able to come in and either remotely help you fix it, or they're gonna start fixing it on their end. So it's pretty much going to be growing as we grow and we all start using it. Because while we were there, they changed 75 items on command just over 4 days.
I noticed the Kelly app was different.
The Kelly app is different and it's updated.
That was over one night. That was
Yeah.
from when they first
Oh,
set
it
it
was
to the next
overnight,
morning.
75.
Cause it really didn't do much until like February, now it is changing, so I'm not like trying to say anything about what you guys said, I just wanna know when I can use technology, cause I'm actually really excited about it, and
No,
I
no,
wanna get
we're
rid of
all
this
excited.
It's
older.
time right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the old CRM, they charge you $100 to do most of the good features on it, or the $99
Right,
a
it's
month,
gonna
whatever.
save so many agents, like thousands of
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah.
It's also integrated with Google, and Facebook. So, as we're rolling out stuff too, I'll show you how it's integrated so you can do
Is there any way
ads
they
and
can
things.
snatch it from us?
No,
No.
no, and the biggest thing that you guys have to remember too is all those companies, and we're not honestly trying to say anything bad about any other franchise out there, but the biggest thing about Keller Williams, that you guys, the only reason that we're here and where we're at with all of this too is, number one, because we profit shared, but number two is because we're a privately owned company. We're not publicly shared, and almost every other franchise out there is publicly shared. So they don't have a say in what they do, they have a bunch of shareholders that tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference.
Which is why, like, if you're on, Rick, and you notice something wrong or a glitch, or if you wanna even
Yeah.
pop in a suggestion, you've got a live feed to do it while you're in it. And Josh Teams, who is now
Well, hope you
president,
fill that up.
That's great.
who's now the president, actually in one of our sessions was live responding to people on the spot and fixing things while we were there.
Well, I know Kelly, because one of my, I tried monkey around with Kelly a little bit, and then I got discouraged and didn't monkey with it at all anymore, because you have to log in every damn time, and I don't wanna.
He can't remember his password.
You know.
Oh.
I forget my password. I don't know what my password is. But
I think I know his password.
I have the same way.
Probably
Probably
do, yeah.
mine.
So one thing I do wanna highlight here real quick, cause this just was like stuck out to me, which is amazing, is those landing pages as we kinda go over this stuff. So just to give you a glimpse of what some of this technology does, when you upload a client, say you have a buyer, okay, and you put the parameters of what they're looking for, maybe they just want a neighborhood, maybe they want township or Freeland or whatever, and you click those areas with their information, instead of sending a link via like your MLS, like a Paragon, you know, and you just send a link and they can tab through, that actually creates an entire one-page website that's branded to you and specifically to them, that has all of the MLS information. So instead of sending a link that you click through, you're sending one thing, and it's an integrative and super active website that's their website that they can do a whole bunch of other stuff with. So it adds that extra value, and it makes you as an agent look flippin' incredible. To say, oh, I'm not just gonna send you a link, I'm gonna send you a website that you can use that'll have all of that search parameters that you're looking for instead of, you know, going through the MLS. So just crazy extra value additives like that are all throughout this type of technology.
What about Facebook landing pages? Like, you know how we do our Facebook marketing? And a lot, now the big thing is to go in there and you actually have them shipped out to a landing page. Are we able to create custom landing pages for
You can do it
Facebook?
within like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
so much
That's
easier than it
huge.
used to
Yeah.
be. We're the only ones that are actually partnered with Facebook and Google as far as a real estate company, so it's all integrated into Command.
When we tried to do this before, Alex and I went through a whole lot of hoops in order to be able to try to get it so that it would actually mesh with the MLS. Remember?
So I
just-
battled that last month,
Yeah.
and I have every IDX hooked, thank goodness, because
Okay.
another MCA had stood up and was like, our neighborhoods isn't working.
Right, yeah,
And they said to her, because you didn't do the IDX, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness I did.
Yeah.
So everybody's
It works
is
now
good,
pretty
even
good.
Bay
Like,
County.
my website works just fine.
Well, the Kelly snapshots
yours.
might be what she's talking
Well,
about. The other thing
And
too,
then
you
they
guys,
were-
so we were all hooked up to WolfNet before. Everybody, as of the end of December, we uploaded everybody to Smarter Agent, so that actually is getting rolled out now too. So everybody's going to be working off of that platform. Let me just tell you, I've had Command, and it's not gonna be perfect. He already said, do not expect it to be perfect. It is broken as it's gonna be right now, but if we don't start using it, it's not going to get better. If we don't start talking to Kelly, just like Siri or Alexa, it gets smarter. AI grows as you use it, and that's what makes it smarter and smarter and smarter. And AI is not gonna, or the Kelly app's never gonna tell you the weather or anything. It's only gonna be associated with all the data that's in Keller Williams. So that's the biggest thing, is you're gonna get irritated, you're gonna get mad at it, but they're consistently, they got 300 people working on it all the time, upgrading it and making it better. So, there was
There's a lot
I was gonna
more
tell you
sides.
guys something. So Tracy hooked me up. I got Command before
Try
you
not
guys
to
did. I
bump
honestly, I'm gonna be
it.
honest with you, just started using it in the last 4 days. She put all my contacts in there. She changed my whole website. I don't know what she did. She doesn't even know what she did. But I never got any real hits on my website of people browsing my website.
Me
ever.
too. I get that now.
It's crazy
That's
how many
awesome.
hits
I
I'm
get like
getting
4 or 5
since
a
it's
day.
connected to
And I
Command.
immediately click on that little link it gives
It's-
you, and then you just go
Are
in
you
there.
hooked up to Command already?
I just started randomly like 2 weeks ago.
I don't know if it's that or because we
I
just
just started
integrated
getting
a
random.
smarter agent,
But it's
but I'm
awesome
getting a
because
ton of.
what I do is I send an email or a text right away to them.
It's awesome.
If I got their phone number, it's a text. If I got their email, it's an email.
There's a site that we got that, did you send it out, or somebody did, it was a link? to-
I sent it out, there's 2 of them we're gonna go over too.
Okay, well, the one would look like crap, I don't know whether that one.
Well, then it wasn't the link I
was
sent,
actually
because
black.
mine,
It was-
mine did not look like crap, so it wasn't mine.
It was like black and gray, and I logged in and it had all this convoluted BS.
No, this is not a login thing,
Somebody
so.
give Rick a hug.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Yes.
what I wanna do is, we've got a couple of videos on some of these things. Before we dive into it, Annette, who was gonna come in just to give us a very brief, quick update on the lending thing. I'm gonna pause, and if it's okay with everybody, I'm gonna have her talk for just a few minutes, and then we're gonna pick back up, because we got a lot more to handle than them just sitting here waiting, looking at us with all our technology,
Oh,
so.
it's getting close to lunchtime here.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Alright, so welcome Annette Dory
And Tracy
and
Rymus.
Tracy, sorry, Tracy.
How is everybody? We're just gonna be real real brief. We brought some information, our cards, we brought programs to kind of give you an overview of what we offer. We do have a physician's loan, 100% financing. They usually start calling you guys around May, so good loan, 100%. We don't use their deferred student or their student loans in their, hello? Okay, no private mortgage insurance, so that's a good loan. We do all governments, huge MISTA. MISTA's got their 15,000 going on right now, 02, 04, Bay City.
And then we still have the 7,500 also, so that goes in every area.
Yeah.
So, any questions real quick for us? I know we're
Just do bridge loans up here like you do in Genesee County?
we do.
Yes.
Mhm.
Those are
We do.
huge in my area.
Yep,
Bridge loans.
absolutely. So,
do.
So the
Piggybacks
physician's
also.
thing is like for doctors, you said, like,
Yes,
is that like an
residents.
actual okay.
yep, residents that are in residency and then within 5 years out.
Okay,
So they're, for the ones that are out, we really want maybe 5% down.
okay,
We're really looking to empower those that are in school, getting into residency, don't have any money, and don't really qualify with all their student loans.
so that's the loan that you said does not consider student loans?
Correct,
Right.
correct.
Right.
Now, on your other ones, student loans are really a big item right now. We have to include them. Depending on if we're doing Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, rural development, it can be 0.5%. It could be whatever's listed on the credit report or 1%. So if you have people that are crying on the phone because they don't qualify, it's not us personally, it's regulations. Great question.
Yeah.
So when that, credit score wise for the physician's loan?
They really want 680, 700-ish in that range.
Yeah.
We can make an exception, but it's usually higher.
Okay.
Doctors have a hard time paying bills.
Some-
I read for a doctor,
Some
I
they
read
do.
for a company that like went and saw doctors and I was like, how do they not pay
But
their
your
bills?
residents have a tendency of paying their bills.
Well, good.
Right.
Yeah,
good.
it's till they get the practice and stuff that things start turning a little. But the
Alright.
residents, most of them that we've done have had the credit score criteria that have been needed
Yeah.
to get the loan.
I was
Especially
only in
at
one field too
100%.
when I talked about physicians, I was in the I class.
If you have questions as you're meeting with people, call us. We'll
just
be
got a
glad
text.
to help.
And I just wanted to point out, in case you guys don't
On the
know,
website.
she's right across the parking lot.
We're not now.
We're not?
We're not now. We moved to the branch. We're on
Yeah.
State
Oh,
Street.
all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
right across from Arby's.
Cause your signs?
Well,
Yeah.
we still have operations here.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
So we
right.
have underwriters, processors, our managers there,
Okay.
but we are actually at the branch on State Street across from
Okay.
Arby's.
Full
Right,
service
yeah.
Thank you
branch.
though.
We also do, just so you know, we do piggyback loans where you have somebody that's gonna go into a jumbo. Typically, your jumbo rates are higher than your conforming.
Yes.
So we will do the first at a conforming rate, and we can do a piggyback on a second there, and those rates typically mirror each other. They're not a different rate, higher than, like a home equity rate or anything. They're not like that. Those will mirror each other. And so if you have a $600,000 house,
Wouldn't you like that?
get you out of a jumbo
Nice.
Yeah.
and get you a better rate.
Okay.
So we have that product as well.
What about for investment, like like not like, I'm talking about like complexes, like 12 units?
That's commercial.
Commercial.
Anything over a 4 unit is commercial.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're right, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I guess, well, I'll
Do we
I'll
do
call you.
commercial?
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a very different.
All right, anybody else? I know you wanna get back to what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
I'm gonna talk to you on the way
Okay.
out.
Okay.
And I was just gonna say, when I was in the bathroom,
Is that when you
I
think-
will
Yeah.
dedicate, that's what I was thinking of it. I will dedicate half of my day just so I can actually get some closings done, but if I got like for sure's from everybody, but to just go through all the stages of it, what it can do, definitely get your databases hooked.
Why not just,
And
if there's videos, people should just watch the videos. I mean, that's the
There's
best way,
So-
cause you
so
can
I
stop it.
learned that, like,
You can go
Timeline
backwards,
all the
you can,
time, yeah.
if you don't understand something, you can reverse, you know what I mean? Like,
Sometimes I just don't have time.
Just
for
link-
that.
just send me the
Working at a
videos.
job, You know, so.
or when you
Sit
really like
down
time
and
block,
look
come
at
in
it.
and hear it from somebody me, that's how I like to learn.
What I-
Excel.
What I think we should do, what I think we should do is, when they do the live
I don't know.
training, we'll stream it here. And if anybody who's available wants to come in for the live streaming, we'll all do it collectively here. And then we'll couple it maybe with a time when we get Alex and stuff up here and kind of go
I
through
think if I
exactly
had
what you just
one
said.
big date,
Yeah.
people would really lock it in their calendar and if they know that
After
that's
they
the
see
one
these
time.
videos
Yeah.
too.
Right, you're gonna
Right.
take us
It's very
novices
exciting.
along, aren't you? Now, yeah, and if you'll, the sooner you let us know the date, the sooner we can
That's what I-
decide
So we
that.
can actually.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll talk
I will
after.
figure it
We'll
out.
I saw a lot more slides, I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
So this is just a preview of the class, of the, front page of it and kind of what it's gonna
That's
look
where it
like.
came up.
That's what came up?
Yeah, but it was all like gray and black and stuff from there.
because you didn't have access to it before, you do now. You didn't have access before.
I just looked at it.
Yeah, you just looked
What-
at it
what
and
are
went,
we
oh,
looking
that
at
looks
right
really nice.
Yeah, no,
This
no,
is
no,
the general
this looks like
preview
crap,
when you
I
get into
know.
command.
Oh.
This is like
And
the
this
first
was even
login.
before we went to family reunion,
Still
so
the
you can
dashboard's
see,
really stupid.
we did our state of the
Yeah.
company before, all that was grayed, now it's all opened
Yeah,
up.
everything is active.
Oh, is that, okay.
Yes.
I must
It
have.
really was released.
I logged in, now let me log in.
Nice.
Well, there you go, you remember your password.
So,
Well, no, my computer remembered my password, I don't remember it.
So this is really nice, do you want me to explain it or do you want to?
probably you.
Alright, so this is really nice, so there, it's gonna take you through, we won't have transmittal anymore, because it's gonna pretty much take you through your entire, you know, if you start logging your appointments, your activities, when you're under contract and when you actually close, that's how we're gonna get rid of transmittal, because everything's gonna be under one umbrella. So then we won't have to do transmittal, because she'll be closing out every single day, cause all your information will be in here. What's really nice about this little slide that Nick was talking about, this is a Lance Loken who is like unbelievable at Keller Williams with the volume that he does.
Just like a half
This
a
is for
billion.
1 month, by the way. 1 month, his probable income for the month is $120,000 for the month, thank you.
All those transactions.
And this is his
closed.
potential income, so if he actually went on all those appointments and all this activity happened and everybody went under contract, he could potentially make $260,000 for the month, but his probable income for the month with these closings and contracts that are underwriting is $120,000 for the month, so I wish I had his problems. Anyways, but it's gonna be really nice, cause it's gonna be able to tell you what your numbers are.
And the way these analyze deals is kind of crazy because it'll be like, you know, you've got a 76% probability chance that this deal is gonna close, you know, and it'll tell you, it'll help you fine tune.
That's that artificial intelligence, it just reads, it's gonna start reading everything.
It's like when you watch basketball games on ESPN, it's like, oh, there's a 70% chance, but it keeps going up, and it keeps going down.
Exactly.
So you don't really know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's never really accurate, I guess.
Any mobile app. This, I don't know why this one's up here, but I have a sneak peek of the, oh no, this is the mobile app, which is our
Right.
consumer
Yeah.
app, right? Yep, I do have the sneak peek video at the very end of this, but this is, some of the new things that are gonna be available in the consumer
That-
app that you give to your clients.
This is the biggest thing that Gary thinks is gonna change our company compared to any other company, is our new consumer app. So the consumer experience is gonna change to where, how many of you guys go and you meet a client and you're getting ready to list their house and they say, well, my Zestimate says,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So Gary and their lab team has really talked about giving the consumer something, even though that Zestimate we all know isn't accurate and it says one thing one day, one thing the other day, but it's still giving them a tangible something, right, that they have now. That consumer experience is gonna give them the same thing, so they're going to be addicted. I've got people that I sold their listing like a year ago, and they still go and they look up stuff, cause they love that Zestimate, right? It's gonna be the same thing, the same type of experience, we're gonna give them something tangible that they're gonna want to go to all the time.
Quite the optimist over there.
Yeah. I mean, well,
I'm gonna give them a hug later.
Yeah, somebody, everybody should give it a hug.
well, the mobile app was the whole reason why I came over here to begin with, and it's.
So
Well, I got a chance.
I was the reason you came over here to be
Well,
on
that
that.
too.
The consumer mobile app, we got a chance to play with it.
Yeah,
It's a major game changer.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, in the way that it,
I would just settle for accurate information, because because from what my clients say, that's not accurate right now.
just wait.
I think Gary even said it
Rick needs to go
more
to family
for
meetings.
apps.
Yeah, he even admitted that he doesn't like our app that we have now.
Our app's
So,
just
Yeah.
like any other real estate company's app right now, it's.
So when do they expect to roll
I
out
mean,
the
it's
consumer?
better
app?
The end of Q2, June.
So June, okay.
June, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, it's me. I don't think it's turned up.
Be bringing that up in the
It's
June
just
meeting,
trying.
just so you know.
Yeah. It's all right.
I hope it comes on the TV though.
We want your consumers that are using this to be able to associate it directly with you, the agent,
Everybody hear
because
okay?
everything we're doing is to help you grow a bigger business. So within your consumers app, you're going to be able to have your own agent profile page within the consumer app that your consumer's going to be able to see, and they're going to be able to have direct access to you, and it's all going to be about you and your branding. You're going to be able to customize what shows up here. Here's the neighborhoods you service, here's the languages you speak, here's your phone number, and all your contact information is going to live in this card too. Basically, your business card in their hands where they can quickly message you or contact you if they need to contact you right from the app. The next big place where you as the agent are going to be able to brand the app significantly for your consumer is through something that we're calling the guide. This is going to be where you can put your picture, your team member's picture, you're going to have your logo, and talk about you as the agent. So throughout this process, whether your consumer's buying or selling, you're going to show up there for them and be their expert through this process. You're going to have the capability to create almost a welcome video for them so that they know you, they've been talking to you, but you're going to be able to put more of your branding in right here through curated videos. They're going to talk to them about the home buying process or the home selling process so that you don't have to repeat yourself over and over again about anything that's happening right here. And again, you'll see at the top, your face shows up with any messages that you want to put out there for your consumer. It's going to show up right there. And also, as you go through this guide and through this process of buying or selling a home, you're going to be able to touch every single one of these cards with your branding, with you as an agent, so that your consumer sees you every step of the way, whether that's through videos that explain what's going to happen at this point in time, or just little informational pieces. It's all going to live right here through this guide, throughout the whole process for you, the agent, to be able to brand it, and this becomes your app between you and your consumer. This is going to be your visual representation to the consumer, and them seeing you as that tech-enabled agent.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can get them to log into it right now before June, even though it is that ugly old one, it's branded to you, nobody else can get into it, and then
So it's gonna be the same app then, like if I have it on my phone, it's just gonna update or something?
they're gonna get the
they're gonna get a
notification, do this
Okay.
update, or it'll already auto-update off their phone,
Sweet.
and then they'll have it like this.
So I had Nick, we have Nick, right, so out of Clarkston. So Nick's forte is that he's the lab coats owner. So everybody goes, all those vendors at the marketplace go up to Nick. Everybody wants to be friends with Nick because Nick puts them on lab coats and then gets them exposure, right? So
90,000 agents.
he knows everything, every single platform that's out there, not platform, there's not that many, but any type of software that's out there. So I really asked, me and Ryan really asked Nick, like, you've played with this, you know everything else that's out there. How does this compare? And Nick's blown away. So, at the end of the day, I mean, to me says a lot, cause I don't know the differences. I don't,
Right.
I have no idea, but for him to say that, he's pretty blown away.
One of my personal favorite parts about the app is the guide. And before we go into the demo of it, it's important to explain why this is so important. You know, in the 1990s, I would spend a lot of time with my family, and we'd have movie night. We'd call it a pizza. And if the pizza guy didn't get there, and when we think he would, we would set up and we'd call the Pizza Hut place or Domino's, and we would say, "Hey, where's the driver? Where's my pizza?" And they would say, "Oh, he just left," or "He hasn't left yet." And we're like, "Great." But the truth is, I didn't want an on-demand pizza shop. I wanted on-demand information about where the driver was, no different than the problem Uber solved. One of the things that Uber gives you is it gives you on-demand information about where your car is. Well, real estate agents have this need where their consumer wants an on-demand agent. But the truth is, just like with Uber and just like with Domino's, the consumer doesn't want an on-demand be selling, but on the buying side, I can now see an entire journey of everything that I can expect. I can see how long this process will take, all the steps in this process, and the coolest part about this whole process is that you as the agent, you're just managing your deal inside of your normal command. You're not having to do a whole lot of effort. You're literally just working the process. As you work that process, their consumer app sees information when you're ready for them to see it, and it immediately notifies them. This removes the need for an on-demand agent because they have on-demand information.
So it's kind of lined up. There's so many of these videos too.
And I think if I remember correctly, if anybody ever ends up using Keller Mortgage, it's in there as well, those auto updates and process
Plus your
tracking.
vendor list will be in there, so if they say, hey, I need a painter, or I need, you know, someone that knows drywall, and you start putting your people in there, your vendors into your app, they'll start popping up, so then that's also something that they can have a go-to at and see and just pull them up.
Like an Angie's List.
Like an Angie's List, but you provide it, correct?
This is one of my favorites.
Which one is it?
Yeah.
This is, yeah.
This one's cool.
One of the features that we spend a lot of time working with agents and clients on is we're calling it tour mode right now, name to be determined still. The way this works is you can go into your search and you can easily hit tour mode. And when you go into tour mode, it's going to prompt you to start the tour. And when you start the tour, it's going to then track your journey. And as you start walking or riding a bike or driving or commuting to work, it's going to capture all the homes that you go nearby within a radius. And when you're done, you simply end the tour mode, and it will then store all of these homes into a collection. So I can see that I was on a 45-minute tour, I had 18 homes that I found, and I can go view these homes, and all the homes that I came across on that tour that I went on, I can now explore, rate, comment, favorite, and engage in adding to my real estate search. Consumers really like this feature. It allows them to go explore new neighborhoods, check different commutes and routes to work, and see all the available inventory very easily.
That's cool.
I know, right? Just go drive to that neighborhood, let me know what you think.
And plus you wanna know how long it takes to get to work before
Right.
you make that big of a decision. Okay,
Well, you just go to your maps.
this was kind of like a.
Oh, they're not gonna tell you how much the houses are, though.
No.
So we did a recent poll result, and to kind of support a lot of where our technology is going, what is being supported and stuff with, because a lot of, for an example, like our technology components are going to be encompassing direct mailings and their smart plans and stuff like that you're gonna put your clients and stuff on, so when, you know, their anniversary of their home purchase comes up, or you're farming specific areas or whatnot, it's all gonna be integrated with that. So since a lot of it's evident, and we've been hearing it everywhere, that a lot of what we're doing to be successful as agents is kind of going back to some of those basics, the farming, the prospecting, the calls, the for sale by owners, the expires, all those type of stuff. This is just kind of help supporting that. I don't know if Nick had anything else to add to that.
That was really it,
Okay.
just to show that
Yeah,
going back to the
that we're all on
basics.
track.
Got culture. I brought kisses if anybody wants to shout out. I was gonna shout Jan out because she held the fort down and we were gone.
Right, right.
And then this is just a little video to show how important culture is. And then all of these are kind of what they say within this video, just because this brings it all back.
We've got culture. Our agents always respond to clients' calls and concerns in a timely manner. Customer service and the image of this company are very important to us.
I've got culture. I love assisting new agents and always take time out of my day to greet guests and new recruits.
I've got culture. As an ALC member, I really love being part of finding solutions in my market center.
We've got culture. Our market center provided holiday gifts to a fellow associates family when they were struggling.
I've got culture. I'm living up to the ALC covenant by attending Mega Camp and Family Reunion this year. We've got culture. Our associates are always considerate of our market center staff. We love them and we can't live without them.
culture.
Yeah.
I helped a fellow associate when her business was struggling.
I've got culture. I have made a commitment to myself that I will perform a random act of kindness every day.
We've got culture. Our associates always pay their market center bills on time.
I've got culture. I follow the model and lead generate every day.
I've got culture. As a leader, I am willing to take a stand on an issue that is not popular, but I know it's the right thing to do. Well, I've got culture too. I put God and my family first, and the business second, and so do you.
Thanks for telling me my priorities. Appreciate that.
We've got culture.
Ooh, they use the old logo.
It hasn't changed.
It was 2000.
So we're supposed to like shout people out? Is that the concept?
Yes, culture and kisses, that's what I call it.
You want me to do it? Can I do it?
Yeah.
So not only does Rick need a hug, he needs a kiss. But,
Yes.
but I think that everybody recognizes, especially the new agents coming into here. I mean, not like people that like Brooke, you know, she knows what she's doing, but you know, the Sabrinas, the Nicoles, and the Alicias and the Shawns, they're killing it. They wouldn't be killing it if they didn't have a guy that was training them and showing them how to use the forms and answering questions and being on the board and having that ability to have all that knowledge really helps. So that's who I'm going to shout out.
Give
Nice.
some extra kisses there.
I agree. I know he probably got tired of me.
That's the thing. He doesn't get tired of people. That's what.
But he shares
I would get
too.
tired of people.
Yes.
But.
Yeah. That's awesome. All that stuff that they just.
I want to
went through.
shout out,
Yeah.
how long have you been licensed?
A little over a year, like maybe a year, 3 months.
Okay, and you've been killing it, by the way.
Yeah.
And Cole has been I mean, our new agents, like you said, are
Sean.
absolutely killing it. Like, I'm loving his deals come through that I see, and the EMDs that are coming through when they get submitted, and the contracts when they're signed. I'm like, yes, he's doing it. So shout out to all these new licensees for sure.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
Give them all.
Thank you.
Kisses for everyone. That's my Oprah moment, right? Don't got cars.
Hey, what about
today,
Sabrina?
I Hershey kisses.
Yes, Sabrina too.
Come on, Alex.
Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Yeah, Sabrina brought in some great coffee too.
What's she doing?
She's tucked away in the corner over there trying to be
Yeah.
all inconspicuous.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, so moving forward, as we start to integrate a lot of these components of the office and stuff, I want to start formulating some of our own committees that are going to help support all this unfolding of this new products and proprietary technology and everything that we're doing for our agents. So there's a couple ones that I want to kind of just throw out there and see what sticks. Okay, so our growth committee, we need help because we're getting ready to plan some opportunity nights or career nights, whatever you want to call them. We don't know if we're going to do them specifically. I like the quarterly idea, but I think we're going to dip our feet in it and see what happens. We are working with the chamber to actually secure an official after-hours hosting event. So that's going to be super major for us. Any type of open houses or re-grant openings we do focus really pretty much on promoting that KW exclusive info like our technology, our profit sharing, stuff like that that other companies do not have. So the growth committee is going to kind of help plan, support, and move all that forward, anything that's going to add growth to our office. Culture, social committee, I don't know why culture's in there twice, but you get the point. So we want to really focus on the KW Cares again, which I think in this office, and anybody that's been here, correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of fell by the wayside for a while. After seeing a lot of what has happened and what Keller Williams has given back through the KW Cares, it really kind of revived the purpose of it and the importance of it. And I do remember years ago when there was she actually was the receptionist from the Midland location who got sick. Keller Williams Care stepped in and was able to kind of, because it was an emergency situation, was able to offset her medical bills, and she got funds back from that. So I saw it that time firsthand, but to see on a much larger level what KW Cares has done with the disaster relief programs and stuff like that have been absolutely incredible. And even locally as well.
Yeah,
Which
they gave $33,000 cash instantly when we called them and told them about Flint and the water crisis that we were having. everybody in our office that had a family member or somebody that was being affected by that water, we had them apply, and within a week to 2 weeks, they actually got checks. Here, go fix your water. They didn't ask any questions, they just handed them out, plus they brought 2 truckloads of water in for Flint. So, I mean, I've been here for a long time and saw those grants work. The other thing is if we don't give as an office, we don't receive. So if they don't see our office giving, and we go and we ask when we're in need, because somebody in our office needs help, they're not going to give back. So we're looking for, like, you know, think about it on your commission checks of $5 to $10 off of each check that you guys have. Or you can tell Alex, hey, Alex, just automatically do a $10 donation off of every commission check. She'll put it in the notes, and automatically, so you don't have to think about it, it's $10. So $10 makes a big difference.
One of our agents got help with her pipes in Flint, Lucinda.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
But she's no longer with us, that makes me mad.
Good for you, Mark.
Well,
Mark's like, I'll take those
Our
pipes
Yvonne
back.
got it.
Remember Yvonne Harrington? Remember
Yeah.
Yvonne Harrington?
Yeah.
$15,000 or
She
something
did.
they gave her?
That's good.
Yeah.
Our KW Cares was very, very active in our community too.
Yeah,
I mean, we really, but we had the right people leading it with the enthusiasm.
That's why
Well, we're growing now, so these things can actually be put together.
Yeah,
As we keep growing,
exactly.
we're gonna get more numbers, and you guys actually do a great job of being one cohesive team here. So this should be easy to put together as we keep growing.
Gotcha. So, technology committee, anybody like Rick who is so eager to learn all this technology and wants to maybe reteach it? Let's consider that, okay?
Oh, I'm anxious to learn. If it's possible.
Right. And then career development committee, this
That's
is
actually Rick right there.
Yeah, I was gonna, that's really, I just had to pick on you, but yeah, for real though. This is something I wanna put together. I really wanna hyper focus on this because it's gonna add that extra support to the office. It's gonna help create a higher percentage of cappers in this office. It's gonna leverage our talent assistants with additional trainings, firm up our mentorship programs and stuff like that. So if anybody has interest in formulating or putting these type of things together, please see me because I wanna actually put an official process and protocol together for these and start infusing these in our KW culture and in the office.
That career development, Rick, too, I really want to, because I did a lot of meeting with other OPs that have multiple market centers, and most everyone I met with, their calendars, they have one calendar and it's all their offices training. So everybody can go wherever they want for any type of training, and that would really be saying, okay, we're gonna have this class up in Saginaw, this one in Grand Blanc, this one's happening. So if you guys do wanna travel, you guys know what's going on with the region and within each office all the time. So they actually do it as a pamphlet, and you can open it up and see this big calendar. So it'd be really nice if we could get someone like you to kind of talk to them and put something together.
Okay. Okay, save the date. May 9th is gonna be this year's Red Day. I obviously was not here last year for Red Day, so I don't even know what happened. But whatever we did, my goal is to do it much bigger, okay? I don't know what it is yet, but we're gonna find it out.
Yeah, every single TL, Lynn and Nick were like thinking really big after they went to see the videos on what other offices do, and they're like, we're not doing enough.
Yeah, for sure.
We're really on a much smaller scale.
But considering the fact too, see, I look at it from a growth standpoint, because considering the fact of what we're evolving into as an office, this is an eye catcher, and it puts us back in the face of the community that we are a force to be reckoned with, and we are people that give back. We support who we are, we support our local economy, and this just puts us in the forefront of that. So we're gonna just save the date, that's all I need to do. Because it's gonna be big. Well, I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be big. So again, just this actually is to support Christy's already comments about committing to a small donation for the KW Cares. This is kind of going over some of their statistics. The $180,000 or 180,000 associates that supported, the $45+ million that went out, which is incredible, and over the 4,000+ families that were helped through this KW Cares. All right, this is Alex.
So, I may or may not be able to do this because it would take me a little bit, but if I could get to a point where I separated out the exact amount of closings that you guys were doing versus Clarkston, and I just did kinda like just closed units. I could have it more separated out, but this is all of us together. And what's cool is you guys are really doing a huge job and doubling your
Contributing, yeah.
numbers anyway, but everything is green here when you look, and now our numbers are completely true. Whereas last year we had the combo with Grand Blanc, so now we can kind of really see what's going on, and this is last year, January, compared to this year.
That's just Clarkston and Saginaw together, so
Right.
as a whole, we're growing, and which is huge, what we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
I was about to say, man, that's a lot for this office.
So Melissa ducked out, I thought she was coming back in, but we are doing an official meet and greet this evening here at the office, starts at 5:30. She's sponsoring, like I said, beverages and some food and stuff like that. This is a chance to just get to know her a little bit. She can kind of explain some of the value she's gonna be adding back to our office. Obviously, she's here live and in person, so she's available for any questions, concerns, literally just walking down the hall. But also the additional support, training, and value that they're gonna be giving us is gonna be absolutely incredible. So they're gonna be infiltrating a lot of, if we list a property and we do pre-title work and we wanna send out just listed postcards or whatever, they'll have apps for sellers net sheets so we can run numbers real quick for clients. It's gonna be a whole lot of great things that they're evolving into. Actually, that's already here, it's just a matter of, officially launching it here. So to have a meet and greet with her, to get to know her, understand exactly what she's gonna be providing for the office, they're sponsoring the event this evening here at the office. So
I was just gonna-
please stop by.
Just to be very transparent and open with you guys, I haven't brought title up or mortgage because we haven't been big enough and done enough transactions to actually support it. So being very transparent in our numbers, because we're an open book company, in order for this to succeed, we need to be giving it 17 transactions a month just for it to break even, So if we don't support it, it's not gonna work. By supporting it, we are going to implement things like just listed, just sold cards as we keep supporting it. The biggest thing is that the title company gave back over $20,000 back to the other two offices last year in supporting different events. We are a profit sharing company, so when Ryan comes to me and says, can we have money for this? Or you guys put committee things together, or Red Day, or whatever. A lot of times we don't have all the money to do that because I run by a budget and we go to our affiliates. So it'd be great to start with title, bring in mortgage, and maybe even bring in insurance to help support us. So we are very profitable and we can go to them for events when we want to have things happen in the office or within the community.
Does this help our profit share?
Huh?
Does this help our profitability, which helps
Well,
our
it does,
profit share?
because we can go to them instead of taking the money out of our own thing, and we can go to them. And it also helps with profit share too, because they're in here renting and they just go above the line.
That's what I'm saying, they're
Yes.
paying to be here, right?
They're paying to be
Which helps
here.
pay our bills, which helps
Correct. Yes,
lessen
thank
how
you.
much more, it
Yes.
increases our
Yes.
profits.
Correct.
Yep.
And we have to share by law like 49% or whatever.
47, 48,
47,
yes,
whatever it is.
yeah, whatever it is, yeah, for sure. So,
And do
thank
you own this, right? This is
I
part of your
own
veterans?
yeah,
Okay.
not all of it, but yes, I have ownership in it.
Yeah, so she'll give more information to us tonight, but it's gonna be a good thing. And if you haven't met her yet, she used to be here back in the day, so she knows us very
Yeah.
well.
The other thing too, just so you guys know, is most JVs, most joint ventures, and I don't know, I know that somebody was in here before, and I know that some of you come from other offices, but we implemented one company first that didn't work out, and then we went into this one. And we are capturing 55% of all the agents in Oakland and Genesee County. It's unheard of to have that big of a capture rate, but we're capturing it because of the service they give. So I just wanna really point that out, that it's not because of me, it's because of everybody on that team that's giving exceptional service. And that's why I hired Melissa, cause she had a great track record.
Okay. This is that consumer app that's gonna be out in June. And also, you don't have to type in the entire thing, but if you wanted to share that outfront.kw.com just to anybody and everybody, it's a really cool website that, it has other stuff too about command and everything, but this would be like your client page.
I don't have the speakers for this.
I know.
I wish I could figure out how to put this on the TV.
Chills when you're-
Okay. Pretend like you're in surround sound.
This was so loud it made our ears shake.
Your clothes were vibrating.
It was way more dynamic when you were there.
I know,
Making
right?
the whole floor shake.
Super cool stuff though.
Cool. I wish we would've showed more on the neighborhoods thing though.
Yeah.
Remember that?
But so this outfront.kw.com and then technology.kw.com, I actually already posted that link on our Facebook page. Those are great things to utilize, to look at. I sent this to a couple people while we were out, and they're already interested to talk about what Keller Williams can offer them just based on this website alone. So it's great information.
Yeah, it goes into it too, doesn't it? Yeah,
Mhm.
like tech-enabled, you can watch all this stuff.
Yeah. So I encourage you to take
Did you
time.
send out the links so they can all get on command? Have you sent them all the link?
So the link right now is super simple, agent.kw.com. And you'll see everything runs like that, .kw.com, but agent.kw.com, same user and password as your, everything you've been doing, Kelly, your My KW. And they've made the password reset 100% simple. Whatever you have your reset going to, whether it's your personal email or your Keller Williams email, if you go in and know your username, you can reset and it'll shoot right to your email literally instantly. And if you really have that hard of a time, I'll just go in, set it back to me, and then
Important security message.
Just by going to that, my computer did.
Okay, so it's an eight.
That's hilarious.
All right, on that note, it's time for lunch.
Agent.kw.com.
Yep. That will get you into command.
For the winning team in this.
And then I just kind of want to really quick show that neighborhood one. I thought that we had one.
Yeah, anything that we've watched is all videotaped. Also, all the classes and breakout sessions were all videotaped, and they're all on here. So if you guys are interested in anything or learning anything, you actually can go to those and see the panelists and the speakers that were on those panels that talked about things. So,
Good reservation? registration center?
Yeah, it's at 12:30.
Yeah.
Are we?
I'll go get it. I'll volunteer.
Okay. I just called, you know, to make sure they knew we were coming, so.
Cool.
That's why you're so excited
Time
about
to
lunch,
wrap it up,
because.
wrap it up.
You ready to
Somebody
eat?
wanted to relax.
Get my free lunch. Gotta pick my kid up at 2:30.
I gotta go to work by 1:30, so.
Yeah. I just called and they are.
We'll just take the meeting over there, okay?
Yeah.
We're done too, I think that was the last thing.
Yeah.
So.
Right. See you guys at G's.
But they really can go online.
Geez.
And I left my workshop.
On the 25th
I
too.
put on everything.
I have one of
And I
these
called
shirts.
myself bringing all my items.
I was going to do
Let my workshop out.
I didn't even know Bill was here.
I'll send that, I'll just send
He
it.
just has a couple words at least.
It's actually for the listing closing team, you should have email that says, I don't know why.
Does anybody have any questions? I know we already kind of probably dismissed. Everybody good?
Well, I'm off for like 11 days, starting Friday. So I'm gonna be up here.
I'm glad we
Setting my
had
website.
the thing, we had
up and all that stuff.